Alright, so I tried to jump start it. I got the battery charger on it, and I got my truck on it also. But I cranked it over. It acted like it wanted to start, so I'm gonna pull the spark plugs out. I do smell gas pretty bad, so we're gonna pull the plugs out. We're gonna see if we're flooding them. This also gives me the opportunity to check and see if we are getting spark also on the plugs in the coil, you know, to the coils. So let's go ahead, let's get these out and inspect them. I tried to find a pressure point, you know, where they hook up a fuel pressure gauge on these things. I don't see one on here. I figure all fuel injected cars had them on here on their fuel rail somewhere, and I have not been able to locate the one for this car, so I don't know if this one has one or not. So let me get these plugs out and I'll show you what they look like. So I pulled the plugs out. You can tell they're a little bit wet from starting. That was the number 2 cylinder. You can tell number 3 is wet. If they're wet, I'm sure number 4 here is wet also. And actually, number 4 is pretty dry. So let's go ahead, let's crank the car over, get whatever fuel we have in the cylinders, get that blown out, and then we'll check for spark. Good again. As you can tell, we are not getting no spark whatsoever on the coils. So thinking maybe a crank sensor or a cam sensor possibility. So I don't know. I think that's going to be it for tonight. It is getting dark, so we'll work on it again tomorrow and see what we can come up with. Ah! Ah! All right, go ahead. All right. So we are getting spark off of that, so that's good. So we're getting fuel, we're getting spark. So we're gonna let it charge up a little bit more. Sorry I sound like a little girl, but I've got to take the rest of the coil packs, and when she cranked it over, the compression popped the coil packs out. So that's good. I'm glad that we got spark. So now we can move on to the next step to try to diagnose the issues. All right, so I got all 4 plugs cleaned up, put them on the wire brush wheel there in the garage. So let's go ahead, let's get them back installed. All right, so we got them all back in. So let's go ahead, let's try to restart the car, and hopefully let's see if it'll start now.
You're out of gas. You got any gas in there?
As you can tell, the Cadillac converter is stopped up. You can tell that thing is cherry red right now. So I think we found our problem of why it's not running like it's supposed to. So we're gonna let this cool down. Then I'm gonna have to take the manifold off, away from the head, and we're gonna try to start it again, and we're gonna see if it runs on its own. And if it does, then we're gonna eliminate that Cadillac converter. So I don't know if we'll get to it today because it's really hot right now, and we may get to it tomorrow or this weekend. So stay tuned, and we'll see. Let's see what happens with it. So we went ahead, we took the carpet out of my son's car because like I said, when we first bought the car, the guy left the window down on the driver's side and he had it covered up, but don't understand if he had it covered up for a long time or whatever. But as you can tell, that's the driver's side of the carpet and got a bunch of water down the floor. So we went ahead and ripped the carpet out. So we're gonna let that drain overnight. Water is draining off of it right now into the bucket. And we're gonna probably this weekend lay it out here on the floor, get the carpet cleaner, and we're gonna try to clean that carpet, get it looking better. And if we have to, we'll rip off the installation there and come up with something and put that back in the car, or go to the junkyard and find one that's not been soaking in water, but you know, it's a junkyard, so chances of that happening are very slim. So we're gonna let that drain and go from there. Alrighty, so I started the car up. I pulled the header off because the Cadillac converter was glowing red. Well, obviously I don't think it's the Cadillac converter that was stopped up. It could be, but if you listen real closely, it's bubbling in the overflow and on the radiator cap. So that indicates cracked head on the car, or a head gasket is no good. So we're going to take the engine out of this car. We're going to swap it over the other engine out of his other car. We're just going to put in this one, and we're going to be done with it. It's a shame. I thought we was going to be able to get this one done, and that way he would have two cars, but it's not going to work. So no big deal. And that's what we're going to do. So kind of lost at words. I was really had high hopes for this engine. As you can tell, all the cylinders were black, but that one right there is not as black as the rest of them. So I'm indicating that cylinder 2, I believe this will be cylinder 2, is where the crack is, or the head gasket is. And it won't be no big deal. Could I pull the head off and check it? Yeah, I could, and we still may do that once we get the engine out of the car. So, but that's going to be it. I just thought I'll do a little video trying to get the car running. Obviously the car does run, but like I said, since it's bubbling, it needs a head gasket. So if you like what you saw, or can help me out, if anybody that's into the Hondas or whatnot, I have a little bit of idea how to do the overhead cam motors. I'm not very good at it, but I will try to do them. And comment below, tell me, is it worth fixing this engine, fixing the head on it, keeping the engine? The car's got 225,000 miles on it, like I said. So comment below, let me know what y'all think. If there's any other little quick fixes or anything like that, let me know. I don't care to try them before we pull the engine out. Like, subscribe, comment below, and we'll catch you on the next video.